I'm honest with you, I'm terrible with names. So I do apologize.
No, that's okay.
What is your name then?
Oh, mate, it doesn't really matter. Get on with it.
All right then. Well, as I said, I do apologize. I was born in California to English parents, so I went to the supermarket earlier, and I caught a bit of your show. And you were talking
Wait a
about...
minute. Wait. You were born to... Run that by me again.
I was born in California.
You were born in California to English parents, so you went to the supermarket earlier. I'm not sure how the two are connected. There seems to be a big gap in between. We'll just fill in that gap in our imaginations.
Okay, well, I can tell if you like.
No, I don't think we've got time, to be honest.
All right, fair enough. Anyways, I was off to the supermarket earlier.
Yes.
I've been in the UK since '97, by the way.
This is the first time you've been to the supermarket. Go on, what did you get?
Well, I bought enough to last me 25 years, of course.
Did you get some spotted dick?
Disgusting.
That usually amuses Americans.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, of course.
Okay, well, that's great. Thanks a lot, whatever your name is. What an excellent call. But sadly, you know, we've run right out of time. So sad. I am distraught. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. I'm Andy on LBC, and the time is 11:30. The news headlines with Serena Farrow.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
What's he got to be depressed about?
Well, with wearying predictability, it seems that the Conservative Party is so very, very keen to dump all of those sanctions because I would imagine that their mates are feeling the squeeze. I can't believe it. Sanctions against Russia could be lifted if it withdraws from Ukraine, says Liz Truss, who is the actual... I can't even say it out loud without laughing. Liz Truss is the Foreign Secretary. Can you believe that? In an interview with the Sunday Telegraph, Truss, the Brains Truss, raised the possibility of the crippling sanctions being dropped if Moscow abandoned the war. What we know is that Russia, blah, 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 blah. Britain and its Western allies have passed unprecedented sanctions against Putin's regime. Those sanctions could only come off with a full ceasefire and withdrawal, but also further commitments that there will be no further aggression. Get lost, Liz Truss. We're going to give them back their money. All they have to say is, we're not going to kill any more people. We give them a pass for what they've done already. You've got to be kidding me. Their mates are on the phone. Their phones are red hot at number 10 Downing Street. How much for a game of tennis? We'll pay you anything. Painful. Anyway, Spike text. Why do you refer to the Union flag as the Union Jack? Oh, God, another one of these. The Union Jack was flagged by pirates, or is that what you are referring to? Why do you refer to the Union flag as the Union Jack, as the Union Jack was flagged, spelt wrong, by pirates? No, the Union Jack is the flag at sea, but it is also perfectly acceptable to describe our Union flag as the Union Jack, because that's what people say. Spike. You preposterous pedant, you. I mean, if you're going to correct me, probably best to get it right. Exeter. Hello, Simon.
Oh, hiya, Bob.
Yes, Dave.
No, it is Nick, isn't it? It is old Nick.
It is.
Yeah. I just thought I'd pass on a bit of cheerful information to you all you folks out there.
HAPPY-ness on the way. Go ahead.
Well, basically, I don't know if I can blame Boris on this or COVID, but you're not safe in death now.
You're not safe in death?
You're not safe in death because, evidently, a major, and I've been told not to mention their name, a major funeral plan company has gone bust.
Right. Well, there's not enough dead people about.
So it means that, you can't even guarantee when you're dead, that you'll be properly dealt with.
Right. So you'll have to cancel all death from now on.
Well, it's a peculiar fact that they weren't covered by, none of these plans have been covered by the Financial Services Act. So that's only coming in July, evidently.
Right.
But there's quite a few companies that are on the wobble, and there's one that's got something like 400,000 policies.
I find it surprising that that the death business isn't going great guns.
I couldn't work this out, because I'm of the age, I'll admit this, I'm of the age where when I got to 50, I was inundated with saga holidays.
Yeah.
When I got to 60,
yeah. When you were 50 and Saga started writing to you, did you receive it and think, well, this can't possibly be for me? I'm not oh, wait, that's right, I am old.
Well, I kept thinking I'll be eligible for 18 to 30 still.
Yes, exactly. I mean...
But 50.
50, right, yeah.
It didn't register a bell. But, so no. So I signed up to a company, and then I found out subsequently that it's not so safe as what it seems to be.
Wait a minute, you signed up to a company to plan your...
I signed up a funeral plan company. Being the ever-optimist that I am, I thought that, well, I may not be able to afford my energy bills. Right. So I could die of hypothermia.
So you wanted to be covered for the death part, but not the actual living bit.
Let's buy. Yeah. So I paid money up front. I thought, let's buy a funeral plan.
Really?
So that everything, the way it works is that you buy into like an insurance plan. Yeah. Which then pays the funeral director. Right. It's all getting very morbid.
Well, a little bit. But is this to protect your loved ones from having to fork out money that they might not be able to afford?
It's to protect your loved ones from having the worry of having to deal with the old, disposing of you, basically.
But do you have loved ones to protect, or did you just think, hey, this sounds like a good idea?
Well, I just thought it would be a good idea. Right. Because I had this morbid thought of being rotting away. Yeah. And being disposed of by the local council or something. So
yeah, they'll put you in a skip. Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll probably put you in. They'll probably put you in the same skip that Boris Johnson sleeps in.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
What I was found weird about funerals is, and kind of suspicious too, is that that box that they put you in. It seems like such a waste. They put you in this beautiful wooden casket, which must cost a ton to make, and they got brass handles and all of the rest of it.
Plywood and plastic handles.
I would not be remotely surprised if they presented the body in this beautiful burnished box, and then when everybody leaves, they just put them in an envelope like a jiffy bag.
Yeah, I reckon they swap you over and put you in a sack.
and the burning part is really, I am highly suspicious of that. Do they really put you in something that is so beautifully made, and then they just burn it? And when they give you the ashes, how can you be certain which ashes they are? Because surely the ashes get mixed up in the burning in the oven. Do they call it an oven?
Well, I won't embarrass the funeral director, but he did say, when I sat down and signed up for this plan, he did say, oh, of course, the crematorium costs could be going through the roof.
Right.
So he said, I don't know if I can guarantee there may not be a surcharge for the crematorium.
Well, of course, after you're dead, good luck with collecting a surcharge.
It's not really going to worry me too much, is it?
Well, excellent news there, Simon. I hope your death goes really well. All right.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, mate. Cheers. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, they present you with a casket of ashes. How do you know whose ashes they are? I mean, do they clean the oven out with what, like a toothbrush, to make sure absolutely every last vestige of the person gets put in the urn? Or is it like, we'll just give them that bit? What a lovely conversation. This show's taken an awful turn. I apologise.
I am very sorry that I screwed up totally screwed. I mean, I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
Kentex, Meghan saved Harry. William is too stupid to be saved by beautiful Kate. Saved? What do you mean, saved? Carol says, I saw a squashed horse in the middle of the road once. That's awful. Can we have a little less death on this show? Might be a nice idea. A squashed horse. You'd have to be in something really big to run over a horse, wouldn't you? Jeff tweets, I was at Arley Hall on Monday. Quite a lot. Go quite a lot, he says. Cafe is ace. They film Peaky Blinders in the hall. Yeah, well, I think that's what a caller said earlier on. I've got no idea what... I've never seen Peaky Blinders. I've got no idea. Tom says, here's a silver lining for you. Please remember the money that the Royals bring into the country. We'd be lost without them. Oh, do me a favour, Tom. Another troll. Troll alert. They don't bring any money into the country. Zero money. None at all. Don't be talking to me about people come over. They're coming over here, tourists, because of the Queen. Please. No, they don't. John says, perhaps Boris Johnson could begin each speech with, as you can see, there's nothing up my sleeves. Yeah, including his shirt. Graham says, the dead animals we saw were probably put on the side of the road as roadkill. Later on, I bet there was someone driving around, picking them up and putting them straight into their freezer at home. That's in all of our futures. No doubt. Fabian tweets, the quiz you were talking about was called Going for Gold, and the host was Henry Kelly. We're playing catch-up. Yeah, I know. I know that. Is that the time already? 11:45? How's that happened? Where does time go? It flies when you're out your mind, doesn't it?
Yes.
Absolutely. Christy texts, they separate the ashes by weight. Bone ash weighs more than wood, and the incinerators are spotless. You can eat your dinner off them. Yeah, it's a no from me. And furthermore... No. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
What in places goes on inside that head of yours?
Believe me, you don't want to know. 0345 6060 973. Streatham. John.
Hello, Nick.
An ecstasy of fumbling. Yes, John.
How are you?
I am great, mate. How are you?
Could be better.
Could be better. Well, that's very disappointing to hear. What's the problem?
I bought 2 bags of shopping and it was £35.
How much?
35 at one of the big shops. Oh, yeah.
So what did you get?
Oh, my God, I had some cake. I buy a smoothie. I don't know if I can mention the brand name, but it was very nutritious. And it was, it's not one of your advertised brands, and it was £3.70 a bottle.
How much?
Juice. £3.70 for a bottle of juice.
A juice, yeah. You don't want to drink juice. You want to eat the vegetables or fruit that go into making the juice. Better.
But even that, a banana was 40p, which I was told by a homeless man is quite cheap.
A banana is not 40p.
No, it was.
No. A banana is about 10p.
No. Okay,
yes,
I was wrong.
Yes.
37p. 37p.
A banana does not cost 37p, John.
I've got the picture and the receipt. I'm not kidding.
I don't care. It just doesn't. What kind of a banana costs 37p?
Can I say the shop I bought it from?
No.
Okay. No, I don't mean to be...
rude, but...
Rude. Right. With this whole economy thing, our American friends are very innovative people. And
our American friends are very innovative people. But that's because they're mostly smart.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the point is, I think Rishi Sunak is a moron. And I think this entire Conservative front bench, they make me sick.
Right.
But the opposition are also they remind me of the people I grew up who are all sort of fat and on benefits, and there's nothing that...
Keir Starmer looks like he's fat and on benefits to you.
No, I was going to say, he's getting a bit chubby, with the exception of Keir Starmer. They're all just moany, so especially Angela Rayner, Lisa Nandy. It reminds me of the people, and I don't want to rub you up the wrong way, but it reminds me of the people back in the day who were the Labour Party, and this is Nick Ferrari made this point. They
are the Labour Party.
Yeah, Nick Ferrari made this point. Well, that they just used to throw benefits at sort of fatties who didn't want to go to uni and stuff. And the problem is, if we've got sociopaths on one side, on the Tory bench, and then we've got this sort of lefty on the Labour bench, there's no one to vote for. And I'm thinking, where's the entrepreneurial spirit? Would you be up for discussing this with your co-host, who you have always a very smooth handover with, despite what you say about the brother, Rachel Johnson?
Would I be willing to discuss it with Rachel Johnson?
On a podcast? Because you're both...
Oh, God, no.
Right, okay. But
mate, I do 3 podcasts already. And I'm up to my eyeballs in podcasts.
But you're always both very civil to one another at the handover, even though you call her brother like a fat moron and stuff.
Well, I don't believe I've ever called him a fat moron.
you say bad things about it. But the point is that we've just got a moribund political system. We've got the Labour Party, who were, when Blair was in power, he was hugging Putin, and even in Cherie Blair's surprisingly good autobiography, she writes about the state visit where Mrs. Putin was buying thousands of pounds worth of underpants with £50 notes. And the Labour Party also ingratiate themselves to the Russians, and then the Tory Party are corrupt. And now we've got as Nick Ferrari says, the virtue signalling lefties who say, it's the Tories' fault. And I don't think I'm not a Tory voter. I did vote Tory because...
So you don't think that after 12 years of Conservative rule that the things that are wrong with this country have anything to do with the Conservative Party?
No, I think they're completely... No, I think it's completely the Tories' fault, and I would prefer this centre-left party than Corbyn, who I just thought was a lefty traitor. He wanted to get rid of nukes like you did, and he would have just, taken it from the, communists and all of the sort of, armed rebel factions in
Oh, God, John,
Syria
what on earth are you talking about? Seriously, it's like spaghetti mind here. Is there a point? Let's just fast forward to the point, shall we?
The point is that I think, with no disrespect, I think hard lefties like you and Corbyn who are saying...
Okay, first of all, John, I'm not a hard lefty.
So you are naive, is the point, and I think we would have been better with a Starmer-type person.
What are you talking about? In what way am I a hard lefty?
Oh, because you said that we should get rid of our nukes. That means we would have been being invaded. That's what Nick Ferrari...
You think that we would have been invaded?
Oh, you would have got rid of the nukes, would you? And then we would have come, we like Ukraine.
Okay, John, seriously, you make an argument like a child. What's with the voice? And you don't have to say that Nick Ferrari said that and then you give an explanation as to what it is that you think, as though you can hide behind Nick Ferrari. Painful. Hard lefty. If we'd given up our nukes, we would have been invaded. What, like Belgium, you mean? Or Switzerland? Like that? Germany? You're an idiot, John, and I mean that in a helpful way. Latex, the cremator, brackets, oven, is swept before the coffin goes in. Then it's loaded and whatever left is put into a cremulator. Is that like a Terminator?
Affirmative.
A cremulator, which grinds the ashes into dust. There are strict instructions on cremations. Always read the label. Paul says, what we did not see was Sunak trying to figure out how to open that can of Coke for several hours. Well, he's probably like Smug. He'd give it to hard man Steve Baker.
You're better informed than I am. I don't know anything.
Hard man, Steve Baker. Oh, right, okay, sure. Nigel says, I did a function at Arley Hall for Princess Anne. A function? What, like A bodily function?
Disgusting.
Oh, please. No one needs to know that, Nigel. Stephanie says, 37 pence for one banana. Does that listener shop at Fortnum & Mason? Today I bought a bunch of 5 bananas from a well-known supermarket for £1. Well, even that sounds a bit high. Bananas are about... you can get a banana for 10p. That last bloke was an idiot. He sounded like an idiot and he spoke like an idiot and his arguments were idiotic. Therefore, an idiot. But I'm glad that he called. Wasted a lot of time. Excellent work. Rona says, as a big fan of the Foo Fighters, I'm really shocked to hear about the death of their drummer Taylor Hawkins. Shocked? I'm sad. Well, sad. There's so much else that's awful. That's much worse than that going on in the world at the moment. It's hard to actually drum up some emotion about a bloke that I've never known. I mean, I like the Foo Fighters, but I'm not shocked. A, he was the drummer, and B, I think he was like 98% of him was constituted as drugs.
Want to score some pot?
I mean, famous for it he was. I mean, just look at the wild, staring eyes of the man. You were shocked? OK, then. 0345 6060 973. Enfield. Hello, Tony.
Hello there. Yes, Nick.
Hello there.
Let's be reminded.
Oh, God. Not two in a row on the Nicky Abbott show.
Yes, no, Nick. The Royals cost the taxpayer millions of pounds a year.
Hundreds of millions.
Well, there's tens of millions of pounds. Let's be reminded, the Buckingham Palace, 777 rooms. Can you believe that? This is a family that's unelected, and when they walk down the red carpet, who do you think pays for that red carpet and somebody gets the Uber out to clean it? We pay for all that. It's unbelievable. And when we're sort of like brainwashed, aren't we? We're conditioned. Oh, we've got and the tourists that come to the UK, I think something like 0.1% actually has eyes on the Queen or one.
No one comes to this country because of the royal family any more than they go to the Palace of Versailles because they think they're going to bump into the Sun King.
No, that's absolutely right. And let's be reminded, the Queen of England, she's the head of the Church of England. And when she has an audience with the Prime Minister once a week or once a month, whenever it is, do you think she ever mentions about the homeless people and the soldiers that's come back from war and they've had all sorts of mental problems and all the rest of it? They're sleeping on the streets a mile from Buckingham Palace. And there's 777 rooms in Buckingham Palace. And we say, God, I just can't get my head around it. Is it me? Am I going off my trolley?
Well, yes, but it's not. You are. It is you. But that doesn't mean to say that what you've just said isn't correct. If that's any help. Thanks a lot, Tony. 0345 6060 973. We are getting ever so close to the moment that the clocks go, wait a minute, spring forward. Now, you might have a little less sleep, just depending on whether you actually have to get up at a specific time tomorrow. I mean, if you have to get up at 8 o'clock tomorrow, then you're going to have an hour less, and you'll be fumbling around like sort of a drug-like state, because you will be seriously out of whack. Be careful tomorrow, because apparently the day that the clocks change one way or the other, accident rates skyrocket, particularly when people are driving. So take care, be cautious. But the light will be coming back into our lives. How marvellous. But not yet. It'll happen in a while. You can stare at the clock on your phone to watch the magic happen at 2. Is it 2 o'clock? Yeah? 2 o'clock. Isn't it exciting? 0345 6060 973. LBC.
This is LBC from Global leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Hello, boys.
What number are you calling from?
0345 6060 973. Rona Tech. Oh, no, I read that. Foo Fighters. She's shocked. Jim says, William has never shown much enthusiasm for royal visits, except in his role within football, where he takes his responsibilities seriously by regularly attending. Taking up the offer of free tickets. OK, then. James says, purple rain with oodles of beetroot, never mind pills. Phil says, you'd have to be paying attention, close attention to what we were talking about some while ago to understand what that is all about. And if you don't, then don't bother looking. Phil texts, as the economist J.K. Galbraith said, if you want to know what trickle-down economics is, go sit under a horse. Well, he didn't quite put it like that, but more or less. He said, the less than elegant metaphor that if one feeds the horse enough oats, some will pass through to the road for the sparrows. Oh, is that what sparrows eat? Awful. Let's have a call in Fulham. Hello, Wendy.
Oh, hello, Nick. Hello.
Wendy.
Oh, yes, because, you might think I think at the back of my mind it's a bit trivial because of the war, but...
Yeah, but life goes on.
Well, yes. Well, I had my cat cremated, and put her ashes and whatever you said, that other word, in a box, and she came back in the post. But then
what?
I was thinking,
the post.
What? Yeah, I think
the post.
Yeah, or the ashes in the box.
Right.
My cat.
Okay.
My cat's ashes were in the box.
In the box, yeah.
Yes, and and I've got her in the other room on my shelf, but you can't open it, I wanted to open it and have a look, but you can't open it.
Why not?
And then I don't know. I mean, and I thought...
Well, what kind of a box is it?
It's the size of... Let me think.
Like a cigarette packet?
No.
Like a book, like a paperback book.
Yeah. Okay. Like the length of egg. What you get eggs in. Like that.
Like an egg box, like
a
half a dozen of box of eggs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
you can't open it.
And I'm thinking, no, you cannot open it.
Right, is it like welded shut or something?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's welded. It's wood, and it's got a top.
Oh, it's nailed shut.
There's no nails. There's no nails.
Maybe it's glued shut. Wood glue.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, it's really stuck fast, though.
Right, well, you've made a heck of an effort to try and get that thing off, but it just won't come.
No.
Right.
And then, what was that other thing after the cremation? Then they, people go through something else.
They terminate it.
Correct.
Or eviscerate. Well, I can't remember what the word is, but they cremulate. I think it's cremulate. I better got that right. They cremulate it.
I know. I've never heard of this. No,
neither had I. I think it's where you... I don't know whether we want to actually have this conversation, Wendy.
But I'm nearly finished.
Yes.
I'm nearly finished. Yes, and now I wouldn't be able to afford that.
Well, how much was it?
£110.
What?
£110?
To have her cremated,
right.
and posted
and
to
popped in the
me.
post, right?
Yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's safe on the shelf.
Right. Nothing's going to happen to her there.
Well, I was listening to what you said, and I thought, how how do I know that she's in there?
Right.
How do I know that the ashes are her ashes?
Yes, that's exactly my thoughts.
Know? Right?
How do you know if you just scale it up a bit to a human-sized, casket?
Yeah.
How do you know that if you pick the casket that costs £3,000? And how do you know that that's the thing that actually gets put in the oven and then burned? Because it seems like a bit of a waste to me.
Yes, I was thinking that as you said it. They take the body out and they save the coffin.
But you've just paid for the coffin, though. Yeah. A used coffin. Who wants that?
Recycled coffin, they could say. Oh, no, all right, no, it's not. Yeah,
I mean, that would be the green alternative. But, I mean, if I had spent $3,000 or $5,000, or you'd probably spend 10 or more on a coffin, then I'd want them to, actually burn it.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what? I actually wouldn't. I think, no coffin at all would probably be a better idea, wouldn't it?
Yeah, or
for the environment. Think about the environment.
Ones. Yes. But the basket ones are the most expensive.
What?
The basket coffins. They're really dear.
One of those baskets for life.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I don't know where you're taking this show, Wendy, but this show has taken an awful turn since you came on. Are you aware of that?
My head was scrambled earlier.
Yeah.
And now I'm talking gibberish.
Yeah,
I've got to go then.
That's you and me both. Thanks a lot, Wendy. You've ruined this show. 0345 6060 973. Simon texts, just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water with COVID supposedly not the issue it was, I received a letter from the Department of the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs today warning me that there's been an outbreak of bird flu in my area. Not sure why they wrote to me, as I don't keep poultry, but I do live next to water, and we get lots of ducks living at the bottom of the garden. Is this how things are going to be from now on, with us just jumping from one pandemic to another? Yeah, well, Anthony Fauci, out of America, he did say a long while ago that we are entering the era of the pandemic.
Oh, no.
That's what he said. By the way, it's not gone away, that whole nightmare. It's back. COVID cases have climbed by 1 million in 1 week. 1 million in a week.
What?
Swab tests suggest that 1 in every 16 people in this country is infected. That's 4.3 million people, up from 3.3 million the week before. Holy macaroni. Everybody's walking around like this ain't happening anymore. Like, that's it. It's finished. It's over. All it needs is for one mutant virus, one mutation of this virus in one of these 4.3 million people to be more contagious or deadly than what we've had before, and this thing's going to sweep over us again. But we're all pretending it's not happening. 17,440 patients in hospital with the virus on the 24th of March. About half will have been admitted for something else, mind you, and then caught it when they were in hospital, for crying out loud. Just over 300 of them needed intensive care bed with a ventilator to help them breathe. England's chief medical officer, Professor Sir Chris Whitty. You remember Professor Sir Chris Whitty, don't you?
No.
Yeah, it used to be a thing. He said earlier this week that while the virus was causing pressure in the NHS, the high rates of transmission were fortunately not translating into lots of intensive care cases and deaths. Yeah, well, that's good. However, it doesn't mean they're not in an NHS bed, which means that someone who needs treatment for something else isn't. And on top of that, we've got a chronic staff shortage after 12 years of munificent Tory rule. And staff absences with COVID from NHS hospitals has risen to 31%. What? 31%? Staff absences at NHS hospitals in England due to COVID have risen. Oh, no. They've risen by 31% in 1 week. That's 2% of the total workforce, either absent because they were sick with the virus or were self-isolating. So, it's not gone away. It's still there. It's just that we're pretending that it isn't. Because, Bodge, he just couldn't be bothered with it anymore. So he decided to gamble. Now, the downside is that a lot of people might die, but not him personally, so what does he care? The upside is that he might be a hero. That's the gamble that he's taking. On the one side, if he lets us all out, he might be a hero. On the other side, if his gamble doesn't pay off, then it's just a lot more dead people. So, it's a no-brainer for Bodge. Yeah, onwards and upwards, Bodge? 0345 6060 973. I haven't talked about a single thing that I meant to on this show so far because I have been up to my eyeballs in the issues. I wanted to talk about this war on woke thing because we're going to be hearing a lot more about that. Believe me. It's how the Tories are going to fight the next election. They want to fight the next election on the benefits of Brexit, but there aren't any. That was their first choice. Their second choice was to say, well, don't vote for the communists because they're going to take your Brexit away from you. But people are a bit nonplussed about the benefits of Brexit, so they can't really go with that either. So what they're left with is a war on woke. And you know that that's what they're going for because minister after minister after minister keeps coming up with that war on woke thing. They just all say it over and over again. A memo's gone round. This is the talking point, the one and only. This is what we must hammer home. While saying they're trying to cancel the war, this whole woke thing, by bringing it up over and over again. Smug just said that the other day. And angular, tetchy, humanoid Dominic Deckchair Raab was banging on about it yesterday. The war on woke. Oh, it's going to be like endless. Day after day after day, they're going to be hammering on and on and on and on about it because they can't go to the country with anything else. They can't go with law and order because they've defunded the legal system in this country for 12 continuous years. Fewer police persons, fewer police stations, fewer magistrates' courts, less legal aid. I mean, you name it, they've done it. Screwed that over, so they can't go up, serve that up for us and say, look what we've done. So they draw a veil over that. The NHS? That's a big no. After 12 years, what have they got? What can they show for 12 years of Tory rule in order to get us to vote them in again? They've come up with nothing. Amazing. I mean, like if it was a couple of years ago, they could just say it's Jeremy Corbyn's fault. And people would go, oh, yeah, that's right. But now they've got absolutely zero. They've gone to the cupboard and the cupboard is bare. So they just made up this, I don't know, war on woke. Yeah, that's it. We'll cloak ourselves in victimhood. They're trying to cancel us. And the Human Rights Act is uppermost in their sights because they think that's what their fans want. Because their fans don't actually know what the Human Rights Act is. If you tell them what it is, if you tell them which part of the Human Rights Act that they would like to dismiss, then they'll come up with nothing. So they're just making it up. Free speech and all of that. Oh, the gaslighting with these people is just tremendous. I'm amazed that they can pay their bills. They gaslight so much. Anyway, I might get to that in a minute. Assuming that these people stop calling me. How do they get my number? 0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
I really like you. Do you like me?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Winnie texts, you don't have to have a funeral. You can leave your body to medical science. And when the students have finished carving you up, you can have a free memorial service. Right. I'll think about that, Winnie. Dave says, the reason France's energy bills are only going up by 4% and ours by 100% is because the French have had a revolution and we have not. Well, not yet, says Dave. No, it's worse than that. The reason that France's energy bills are only going up by 4% is that the French aren't stupid enough to have sold their energy. That's the reason why. They still own their own energy. We sold our water. I mean, how stupid are we? We let them get away with it. And what benefit do we have for that? What benefit has accrued to the little people, not leprechauns, from having sold our electricity and our gas and our water? Can you think of anything at all? Did any money come your way? Are you richer because of it? How did we let them do that? And we were sold it as a good idea. Yeah, you could get shares. You'll do really well out of it. Yeah, sure we did. Shane says, I wonder if old people voting for Tories, despite all that has happened before, could be attributed to the symptom of memory loss as people age. Just a thought, says Shane. 0345 6060 973. Bristol. Hello, Charlie.
Hi, you woke, hard lefty.
Yes.
I feel morally corrupted.
Oh, I apologise.
Because of Boris, not because of you, because of Boris.
Right.
It's dreadful.
Yeah, what have you got to say for yourself, Boris?
I followed the ministerial guidance at all times.
He followed the ministerial guidance at all times.
The government's overwillingness to privatise everything, even refugees coming into this country, has made me question my own moral.
Your own moral?
They've made me upset with myself because...
Well, I'm upset with yourself.
We now get to choose what type of refugee we want in our house.
Of course, they send around a selection and you pick one.
Well, can I put in the box other that they're good at doing DIY? I mean, am I a bad person for that?
Oh, of course not. That's just forward planning.
All Boris's fault.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Boris. See what you've done? Your Aegis? He's playing. He'll tire himself out and then he'll sleep well this evening. Thanks a lot, Charlie. Shane says, no, I've read that. That's the one about losing your memory. Ironic, no?
No.
Matt says, I don't want to urinate on your cornflakes, but you assuming that these mystery animals, badgers in the road, haven't been moved by kind-hearted passers-by is complete tosh. The reason they aren't as flat as a pancake is because the local farmers whack them and then throw them onto the motorway to make them look like roadkill, thereby avoiding the legal repercussions. Cheers anyway, says Matt. Yeah, cheers, Matt.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Oh, I was going to talk about wind farms. Not that it has anything to do with anything that we're talking about, but travelling up and down from Cheshire this week, saw quite a few wind farms. And you know what? They look great. I saw them way out to sea, and they look particularly good out there. And I saw them on land, and they look really good on land too. Here's a good idea for all those NIMBYs who say that they don't want a wind farm near where they live. Motorways have scarred the landscape. Within a mile of a motorway, all you hear is the roar of traffic, and you can see it from any hill around. So every mile of motorway in this country should have an avenue of windmills going down it, because the landscape has already been ruined. There is no beauty to save there. Just do it. Get on with it. Plus, they're a beautiful thing. I mean, they're a great design. They look really good. Not every inch of this country is an area of outstanding natural beauty. Let's get over that. Plus, even if you don't like them, even if you don't like the look of them, which seems weird because it's a beautiful design, they just are. But if for some reason you don't like it, your dislike is mitigated by the fact of by what it is that they do. They produce electricity out of wind. We got no end of wind. I know that it's not totally reliable, but it's a pretty good way to make electricity. We can infill with nuclear or whatever else, or wave power would be another good thing, because unless somebody blows up the moon, we'll always have wave power. but we should stop this nonsense about one person can stop a wind farm because they don't want it at the end of their garden, even if they can't see it. Let's get it done. Move into the new millennium. Come on, people, let's go. Oliver says, Andy, you are terrible. That's me. Andy, you are terrible at taking pictures of trees. At least get the whole thing in the frame, man, says Oliver. That's the tweet that I gave about Arley Hall. Well, it was the combination of the blue sky, this iridescently blue sky, and the pink of the magnolia in front of it. The combination of those two colours was marvellous, and you didn't really get the full effect if I got the whole tree in. So I just got some of the flowers. Pretty, pretty. Dave says the benefit of Brexit, brackets, the purpose of Brexit, since Boris chose to advocate it, was to get into place as Prime Minister from amongst those who wanted to be in place as Prime Minister, the said Boris. Wow. That's a really complicated sentence there, Dave, and I think you almost pulled it off. Almost. Let's have a call in Doncaster. Maria?
Yes.
Maria?
I'm here. Hello?
I once knew a girl called Maria.
Oh, that's an old one.
I saw that film the other day, the remake of...
West Side Story.
West Side Story is the right answer.
Correct.
And I didn't really understand why they remade it. What was the point of remaking it? It's the same.
It's a fabulous, fabulous film. It was made in 1961, in the year I was born.
Yeah, that one was, but they got a new one.
They have, and I haven't watched it yet, but I was called after the main character.
It's okay. It's all right.
Is it?
I didn't really understand.
Am I safe to watch it?
Yeah, I didn't really understand why they remade it. It's not better. It's just newer.
Different. Yeah, I know. They have to remake things because there aren't very many new ideas that are brilliant.
That's
are there?
true. Yeah, absolutely.
So a couple of things.
Everything's been done under the sun.
Rock and roll. Oh no. Well, when you're my age, you've seen a few things before.
I bet
but
you
never
have.
Never mind. Wicker coffins, much nicer than wooden ones. Much easier to get out of if you're not dead when you're in there.
Well, that's true.
And prettier, and they smell beautiful. Just thought I'd give you that one.
Right.
And as for all this woke stuff, my goodness, what a load of charlatans we have in Parliament.
Wow. My life passed before me just for a moment there, but you said charlatans. I definitely thought you were going to say someone else, but you pulled success from the jaws of defeat. Well done there, Maria.
Thank you.
Thanks, excellent
thank
work.
you.
Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. Charlatans. I really thought that was going somewhere else. Chris says, my dad bought me a funeral for one of my birthdays. He had one too, and when he sadly died, all we had to sort out was flowers, says Chris. Worst birthday present ever. He bought you a funeral for your birthday. What? Talking of dead things, Tina says, I think the mystery roadkill could be wild boar piglets. Not a time warp, and we're not in the 14th century, even though it feels like it. Wild boar gangs wander Britain today.
Warning, warning.
Don't get sucked into one of those wild boar gangs. They're no good. Wild boar. I tell you what, wild boar tastes yummy. But I don't think they were wild boar because they were a bit hairy. What does a badger look like when it's young? Because there were signs saying badger alert. I don't know what you're supposed to do for when you see a sign that says badger alert. I mean, what are you supposed to do on a motorway? It says warning badgers. How are you supposed to act on that information? Oh, look, so cute. No, it wasn't a badger, because they're striped, aren't they? Like a mint imperial. But they probably don't taste as nice. 0345 6060 97. I have never actually licked a badger, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't taste as nice as a mint imperial. 0345 6060 973. Look at the time, it's 12:30. The news headlines with Serena Farrow.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
Now, wait a minute. I don't like that kind of talk. Now, just stop it. It upsets me.
0345 6060 973. Merthyr Tydfil. Hello, James.
Yeah, hiya, Nick. Nick, I'd just like to say, look, I agree with you totally. Outside by me, we've got 3 lovely wind farms.
Yes.
And as you quite rightly said, they look beautiful.
They do.
And all they do is contribute to the grid.
That's right.
And
when it's windy.
When it's windy.
And when it's not windy, they still look good, not moving.
Yeah, but being in Wales and on top of a mountain, Nick, they're doing the job.
Right.
Right, and also, with the water, thankfully, we own our water here. It's a non-for-profit in Wales.
Right.
So we're doing all right on the environmental part. But I rang up to tell you, researcher, I can't vote for the Labour Party, Nick. I'm sorry. I'm not a Tory, but I can't vote for them. Right.
You don't have to apologise to me. I'm not telling you to vote Labour.
I know, but we're at total opposite ends, Nick. You're fully supported of being in the European Union. I'm not. I can't vote for them.
But Labour aren't saying that they're going to take us back into the European Union. But how is leaving the European Union working out for you so far?
At the moment, well, I'll be quite honest with you, Nick. At the moment, I feel there's no difference. I'm not losing anything as we stand right now.
Well, you probably are, James. It's just that you don't notice it because somebody hasn't knocked on your door and taken something from you. But it's like small. People think that you're going to notice the difference because it'll be like slamming into a wall, but it won't. It'll be just like the slow puncture of a tyre.
Look, I totally understand where you're coming from. I know your point of view. My point of view is, look, I voted to leave. I didn't want to be part of a super state. Nothing else. That was the reason.
But that's not. I mean, I really don't want to have that conversation. But that's not really a reason. I don't want to be part of a super state. But you are. You're part of the United Kingdom. That is.
Yeah. Which is. I fought for this country. I've been to war for this country 3 times. But I agree with you on most things, Nick. But that's the only thing. Look, I cannot bring myself to vote for the Labour Party, who would drop the voting age just to get a referendum to go back into maybe what's it called, the economic union or the single market.
Okay, well they've never said anything of the kind. But why shouldn't they drop the voting age? People who are 16 can have a political opinion which is just as valid as somebody who is 90. Why not?
Yeah, but to me, that's not the case. You've got to be basically 18.
There's absolutely nothing to suggest that that's true. I mean, somebody who's 108 and has lost touch with their faculties a good long while ago, they can vote. But somebody who is 16 and switched on and is politically motivated, they can't.
I know. Look, Nick, we're never going to agree on it.
Okay, well then we'll just leave it there. Thanks, James. I don't see why people who are 16 shouldn't be able to vote. Why not? They have to live here. They have to live with the consequences a lot longer than somebody who's 100. They can vote. Lots of text saying it's Everton mints that have a black and white stripe, not mint imperials. Well, what's a mint imperial look like? The ones that have got black and white stripes are. Everton mints. I never heard of them. Everton mints. You wait till Liverpool find out about that. Bruce tweets, I am very particular in what I watch. Peaky Blinders is in my top 10 TV shows of all time. Is there an accent at Tom Hardy cannot do? Is Tom Hardy in Peaky Blinders? Is Tom Hardy in Peaky Blinders?
I don't know.
No, he doesn't know, and furthermore, just doesn't care. There's a bag of Tesco Mint Imperials. They got stripes, see? Oh, no, they're white. The bag's got stripes, but they are white. Well, one of those sweets has got a black and white stripe. Trust me. Amy says, as an economic vegan, I have no qualms about eating roadkill. Also, most of the body gets released as gas when it's incinerated, and very little becomes ashes, about 3 or 4%. Gas? Ray says, oh my goodness, now I feel horrible. All this talk about funerals has just reminded me I have my ex-cat under my bed. What? Well, not as it once was, but it's ashes. I need to go spread them somewhere, says Ray. Well, if you can get the box open, you can. There's no guarantee that that's possible. Yeah, I was going to talk about free speech. I was going to talk about it a lot. But I guess it's something that I can leave over till next week, because we're going to be hearing about it next week and the week after and the week after that, and for months and months and probably years. This is the thing that they've alighted on, the Conservative Party, to win your vote for next time round, because they've got absolutely nothing else. They're going to try and distract you from not being able to afford your heating bill, which is their fault. They could have done something about it. Other countries are. They decided not to. Fishy decided not to. Because he has absolutely no concept of what it is to be a normal person. Does he look like a normal person?
No.
Not really. His wife just made, on top of the billions that she's got access to, she just made 12 million quid for just standing still. Don't get me started on that. Knighton. Hello, Barry. Oh, Barry.
Barry, yes, this is Barry speaking from,
yes, Barry.
From downtown Knighton.
Knighton.
In mid-Wales.
Oh, sounds a delight.
Yes, well, it certainly is. Well, it was until we had a wind farm put next door to us.
Lovely.
Yes, very lovely. In fact, we can sit in our living room and see the blades going round.
Great.
And reflecting the sunlight and the flashing and flickering.
Flashing and the flickering. Well, that sounds excellent.
Well, it is.
It's like a party over at your place.
Well, well, it is. The problem is, it's also like a party, very noisy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the problem. We don't like it. We want to move. Unfortunately, nobody wants to buy our house.
Well, that seems okay. I'm not
suggesting.
Nick? No, not really. I'm not suggesting they should be built next to where people live. But if they put them down the corridors that are formed by motorways, nobody lives next to a motorway. No one. So they could just build them down motorways. Problem solved.
Well, that doesn't actually help me when I'm trying to sell my home.
No.
I had 3 independent estate agents visit. They all independently came to the same conclusion, that this wind farm has devalued my property between £20,000 and £30,000.
Yeah, no doubt.
Who is going to pay me compensation?
I don't know, Barry, but
it should be the Welsh Assembly government.
Well, it
the
should
Labour-led Welsh Assembly government.
It should be whichever electricity company is benefiting from the juice that gets sucked out of the air by those blades.
Well, I can tell you that the wind farm developer has sold the wind farm to an investment company for £100 million.
£100 million.
Now, why would they sell it to an investment company? To make money.
Of course.
Of course. But where's my compensation?
I don't know, Barry. It's like you're blaming me for it. It's got nothing to do with me. If people put it where others are living to the detriment of those people, then that is clearly wrong and it shouldn't have happened. But there are no end of places in this country where nobody is living, where we can put wind farms, where the scenery is not an area of outstanding natural beauty. We've got to stop pretending that every single inch of this country cannot be ruined in any way, shape or form. It can't be built upon, and it can't be its resources can't be taken. Of course they can, but they shouldn't put it next to where people live, for crying out loud, any more than they should put a nuclear power station at the bottom of your garden. I sympathise with you, Barry, but it's got nothing to do with me. I restate my case. Every motorway corridor in this country should have an avenue of wind farms down it. Why not? I think they look particularly beautiful. I wouldn't want to live next to one, but then, I wouldn't want to live next to an aviary. Because they make a racket and all. Chris texts, the lady said her cremated cat was posted back to her. Did she have to post her dead cat to them in the first place? Oh, come on, Chris. Bruce says, if your cat caller ever gets that box open, she'll be shocked to find her cat's ashes in a plastic bag. Yeah, I think that's right. They do put it in a plastic bag, don't they? It's not just loose in the box. Frida says, why not go out on a limb? Isn't that where the fruit is? To make an apple pie, you need wheat, apples, a pinch of this and that, and the heat of an oven. The ingredients are made of molecules, which in turn are made of atoms. Except for hydrogen, the atoms are made in stars. A star is the kind of cosmic kitchen inside which the atoms of hydrogen are cooked into heavier atoms. If you want to make apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe, says Frida.
Yowza.
Wow, you just blown my mind.
Groovy.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Frida, but that sounds great. Let's do that. David says, after my mother-in-law died, the funeral director asked if she had any metal implants, as the family have been given the option of having them back. My wife and I decided that her hip replacement would have looked a bit out of place on the mantelpiece, so they decided that the crematorium could have it. Well, that's just good thinking, David. I'm sure they were appreciative.
Thank you.
They said. Got a lot of messages about death. Neil says, just as well we don't live in the US of A, where, for the funeral service prior to cremation, you can actually rent a coffin or a casket. Well, that doesn't sound such a bad idea, actually. I mean, why burn it? Somebody's gone to all the effort, all the materials and the time that it takes to make a coffin. Because, I mean, they're, as a piece of furniture, it looks pretty nice. Don't they? I mean, they're well made. They're, polished and accoutred with brass handles and fittings and all the rest of it. Why would you want to burn that? Doesn't make no sense. I can understand that you'd want to bury it, kind of, sort of, but burn it, that don't make no sense to me. So you could rent one by the hour. Why not? 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet @LBC. Text 84850.
0345 6060 973. By the way, I should have mentioned this a long while ago. We do stick these shows up the internet. As soon as they're finished, there or thereabouts, we will put them on the internet and take the news and the ads out, which means it will take less time to listen to. You'll use less electricity, and you still won't be able to pay your fuel bill. So there's that. It's called Nick Abbott, The Whole Show, and it joins the suite, a whole panoply of other podcasts, which I am responsible for, personally. There's the one I do with Carol McGiffin.
Oh, right, yeah.
Called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, in which the delightful McGiffin and I laugh our way through an hour while trying to solve people's problems. It is a lot of fun. I think you'll be amused. I know we are.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Oh, yeah, the Nick Abbott Habit. That's best of clips of old shows. Before we were worried about the end of the world. Back in the good old days. Just do an internet search on my name, Nick Abbott Podcast, and all three will become clear as though by magic. Let's have a call in Northfields. Hello, Terry.
Oh, humbugs.
Humbugs.
Yeah, they were the mints that you're thinking about.
Oh, right.
They're
Stripy mints. They look like badgers, but taste better. Yeah, humbugs.
Yeah, the chewy inside, the same as a mint imperial.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I've got a bone to pick with you.
Go on.
You know the whole show? I listened to the whole show a fortnight ago, and it had adverts in.
Yeah. Well, we take the adverts that you hear when the show goes out live, but then we put a very, very few minimal amount of adverts back in as per
so you
the
don't
other.
get a full 4 minutes. You just get
Correct.
2, maybe.
Well, not even 2. I think it's like 30 seconds, something like that, every now and again, just in order to, fund the cost of putting it together. We've got to make some money here, Terry.
Of course, we're all hard up, Nick.
I know we are.
Okay, well, enjoy your mint and Imperials.
Well, thanks for
humbugs.
Thanks for the humbugs,
it is.
Terry. Cheers, my dear.
Yes.
Ta-ra, 0345 6060 973. I wanted to talk about free speech, because this is what we are going to be subject to from now on until the next general election. It's going to be this phony woke war that the Tories have decided is the best thing that they can offer this country, because they absolutely have nothing else. After 12 years of Conservative rule, they want us to ignore every single thing that they've done to us, and they've just cast their minds around and come up with this. This, they think, is their best bet. That and restricting our ability to actually go out and vote. Or, more accurately, restricting the ability of people who might vote anything other than Conservative to go out and vote. So this was the Mail, because they're fully on board with all this. The right-wing press, they're doing a little happy, giddy dance that they've got something like a campaign they've got. The Mail comment. The Mail says, "The right to express an opinion, even one that offends or upsets, is a cornerstone of any liberal democracy," says the Mail. "Unconstrained debate, the engagement with conflicting ideas, the exchange of challenging views and the pursuit of knowledge, these have propelled our nation forward. Odd, then, that expressing views that the Mail doesn't agree with is called being woke, or rewriting history, or being an enemy of the people. They say, depressingly, free speech is under attack as never before in modern times. We are in danger of sleepwalking back into a dark era of Puritanism, where an intolerant, self-appointed mob silences those who express uncomfortable opinions and question the woke orthodoxy. Which means that anytime anyone says anything that's not the most populist right-wing opinion on any subject, they're labelled as out of touch, or lefty, or activist, and shouted down as being unpatriotic. Just see the Brexit reality of being a poorer country with more limited possibilities and a diminished position in the world. Point out that uncomfortable opinion, and just watch the fury mongers go into a rage and demand you be shut down, that you're a moaner for just wanting the best for your country, and that if you don't like it, you should go off and live somewhere else." The Mail says, on topics from gender and race to Brexit and heritage and history, anyone who openly disagrees with the warped worldview of this left-wing thought police is treated as a dangerous heretic who must be punished. Meanwhile, in the real world, not this imagined land of permanent victimhood that the right wing occupy, the government is actually pushing through a bill that will make it a crime to express an opinion that they don't like in public. Even one person holding a sign up in the street could be arrested if the government don't like it. Just like in Vladimir Putin's Russia, for crying out loud, where people are spirited away by the police for doing exactly that. The Mail says, of course, every single person believes in protecting the rights of minorities who should be treated with sensitivity and care. Ha! Read the comment section in your own online website and you'll see that's not even remotely true. Who are they kidding? The Mail says, but we must not let freedom of expression be eroded by screaming, ignorant mobs terrified of open debate who spew bile and try to cancel anyone failing to adhere to their politically correct groupthink. Which is a pretty accurate description of the response by the press to people who tried to bring to our attention the ways in which we could insulate our homes, which a few months later are being pushed by the very people that wanted the protesters all locked up. And it's being proposed now because of the rising cost of energy and the Mad Vlad's attack on Ukraine. And ignorant mobs terrified of open debate who spew bile and try to cancel anyone failing to adhere to their politically correct groupthink is a pretty good description of the reaction to those who wanted to illuminate the past of people who are celebrated with statues in our town squares and who didn't want to live on a road that was named after a mass murderer. That was called rewriting history, when in fact it was the opposite. It was understanding history and not insisting that if Britain did it, then it must have been good. The Mail says, in the past decade, successive Conservative governments have lost their way by paying too much heed to these self-appointed gatekeepers of isms and phobias. If ministers stand up to them, they won't just be safeguarding a cornerstone of our democracy, they might find it a winner at the ballot box. Exactly. And there it is. Isms and phobias. That is a really loud signal to the right wing. A big thumbs up to the hatred of others is what this government is going to offer you at the next election. They'd like to have campaigned on the glory that is the Brexit that they got done. But there is no glory. It's just a slow puncture of the country that we used to be. Perfectly illustrated by Bodge, literally standing on the world stage, friendless and alone, looking around for someone to talk to, trying to maintain an air of superiority, but finding that the rest of the world just stepped over us to talk to each other. So the Tories can't run on Brexit. They can't even run on, watch out, the socialists are trying to take your Brexit away from you. Because it's hard to feel that you might miss something that you can't find any benefits for. And they can't run on the NHS or law and order because they've dismantled and defunded both of those things for 12 straight years. And the public can only swallow lies for so long before thinking they've been had. So it's all about doubling down on dinghy spotting and being frightened of the tide of others coming to take your jobs and your houses and your money and your place in the queue. And even that's been compromised by the public's reaction to the government's instinctually negative and hostile response to the Ukrainian refugee crisis, which really took them by surprise. So they're backed into a corner. So they'll just double down on the hate and hope for the best. What a way to campaign to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
I'll be back tonight at 10 o'clock. Thanks for all the texts that I didn't get around to reading. So many. Oh well, never mind. Better luck next time. Ian Payne is here at 4, but first, Clive Ball. Where's your mic?
Here.
There you are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, good morning. Coming up after the news at 1 o'clock, the clocks are about to go forward in Britain in just a few seconds' time. But do you think that this twice yearly